Okay, that being said, well, Waja, do you have a coffee mug today? Or are you still sporting? I really am. I got to tell you, I'm really liking.
UFM,
Yeah.
UFM,
Oh, that's
UFM.
nice. It's nice to be a student back there. Bula bula.
Oh, I feel young again.
You should get a T-shirt that says, "I swear I'm a student." So that nobody go, "Excuse me, sir, are you a TA? Are you an associate professor? Can you help me with
Just a
something?"
student.
I'm just a student. That's all it needs to say. Well, I am sporting one of your compatriots' coffee mugs today. My friend Al Franken,
Oh,
which
Franklin.
I got this from his Al Franken podcast, where we flew into New York. We had a grand old time. He is just the funniest, nicest, most sincere guy that you'll ever meet. So this morning I need to grab something more different. So I grabbed my Al Franken mug, and I am still knocking down the mandatory double plus one espresso here from my espresso machine. So nice to
Is
have
English Al
this.
is the same thing like Al in Arabic?
Don't be making jokes like that while I'm drinking my coffee. No, it is not the definite article. It does not mean the Franken. Al Franken. Let's see. Franken would turn into. We're making a joke about Arabic, right? Arabic, any word that begins with AL hyphen means the or of the, right? And that's called the definite article. And you'll see it corrupted in Spanish with el matador, right? The
Mhm.
one who does the killing, which actually is an Arabic, technically an Arabic conjugation, right? Matada, right? No, well, that would be tawada. I'll have to look that up. I don't have my hands there.
What are you trying to say?
Matador as an Arabic word, right? The one
Matador.
who is doing the killing. That's what it is in Spanish, right? Mata. But which, by the way, mata in Spanish, right, is maut in Arabic. Mawata, to die, right? To be
Mowata.
dead.
Mowata.
Mawata, to
Mowata.
be deaded. And to be deaded, you are the one who is doing the deaded. The reason we're making this joke is because Spanish has an enormous quantity of Arabic in it since Spain was Muslim from the years 711 to 1492, which was the Spanish Reconquista, 800 years of not occupation, of it being a Muslim nation. I mean, all the way right up there into Catalan. So, and just south of the French border. Before that, it was like Roman and all sorts of crazy shit. But Arabic Spanish has the same definite article, EL,
Mhm.
right? So does Portuguese. But no,
That's
Al Franken is not Al, the Franken. This isn't an Arabic word. That's the joke that Wajeeh was making. And if it
oh,
was, his verb would be rakana. No,
I like that.
quadrilateral word, farakan, right? All Arabic
Al
words break
Franken. Al
down into,
Franken.
this is an Arabic lesson, guys. Everybody take a note. All Arabic words break down into verbs, into either a trilateral verb, three letters, usually consonants, but sometimes they have two consonants and a long vowel, like wa, u, or a quadrilateral verb, which is four consonants. And if the name Franken was an actual Arabic name, it would have to be F, Fa, Ra, Ka, Na. The second N would probably be dropped, Franken, right? And all vowels are dropped. So it would be a quadrilateral verb, which would mean to be a funny guy from Minnesota, right? I would be Al Franken, the funny guy from Minnesota. So now this is how we change
Another
any word in English into an Arabic word. I hope you enjoyed that
anytime
lesson.
you hear Saudis pronounce President Roosevelt, they say Roosevelt.
Roosevelt,
President Roosevelt.
Al Roosevelt, right?
Earl
Our
Roosevelt, yes.
Rais Roosevelt. right? RSVLT, RSVLT. That's a five lateral, cinquelateral verb. I don't know if that can be played out. That's just a foreign word that's been Arabized. So we're glad we could show you this little Arabic lesson today. And now, as long as we're going further, because we're still waiting for 1,000 followers, I'm looking at 700, almost 800 right now, but my meter could have stopped. It's quite possible my meter stopped. But we're going to give you a little
Here,
bit of
one second.
I'm at 804. When you look at Arabic,
Yeah,
everybody goes,
anyhow.
"Oh, Arabic is so hard to understand." Right? Okay, I will give you an easy word. And you'll see, okay, when we show you an Arabic word, everybody goes, "Oh my God, it's scribbly gobbledygook." It is not. It is actually a code that all of you can break out. First, Arabic goes from right to left. What word do you see there?
I'm trying to figure out what you got between the jim and the alif.
It's a ha. It's a jihad. Anyway, it's a
There's
ha.
ha.
It's shush. It's non-Arab writing ha. Here, I will do it for you like we do in school, right? Al. I did it. Cursive style. Does that make
Oh,
better
that's
sense?
right. Yeah, that's right. That makes better.
Anything that goes up and down there is a ha. Anyway, the first two letters, Arabic reads from right to left. The first symbol you see, which is a stick like that, is the letter A. Ah, long A. And the next one,
Alif.
which is never connected to it from the right, is the letter L. And that's
Lam.
al. And if you see those two symbols, I don't care whatever else you see in Arabic script. If you see those two symbols together, it's al, the definite article. Voila, you are now basic Arabic linguist. I used to teach classes to special warfare operators, and we would just they, show them how to break Arabic out because sound and script, the language, the basic letters in Arabic are actually easy. They're all individual symbols like Morse code that are connected together by a line. And if you see those long, curvy lines, means nothing. It means just we like long ass lines connecting our next letter. Right? It's handwriting, it's script. So that's that's what al is. Al Qaeda, which means the base or headquarters, right? Al Jihad, which means the holy war, all right? Al Quran, the Quran. So if you see al, you already know that the next part of the word is some sort of noun that's going to follow it that is connected to the definite article, like al podcast, right? Actually, would be al podcast because we're not Persians.
Podcast.
We don't have a P. There's no P in Arabic, but there is a P in Persian
There's,
language.
anytime my dad try to say parking, he always say barking.
Barking. You're going barking? Bark
Tell
like
the people that I will have my car in the parking lot.
yes, please barking it. Okay. Somebody goes, all of this is from Al Franken. Somebody says my sound is not good. Is my sound not good?
To me, you're good.
I will double check. It says I'm on my headphones. My headphones audio is good. I could increase the volume a little bit, but it says it's okay. Does it sound good to you, Waja?
It
Somebody
sounds
says,
perfect.
somebody says Alfredo. Okay, good
Alfred.
word. Alfredo. Okay. Alfredo, right, is an Italian type of sauce, right? No, actually, it's a way of cooking pasta, right? So, did you ever have? You didn't have this because I went through Arabic language school. This is native to you, right? So, Alfredo is Italian, which, if I'm not mistaken, means it's done alone, right? A type of creamy pasta sauce made of butter, garlic, heavy cream, and Parmesan cheese, right? Um, this is interesting. because Italian has an enormous amount of Arabic in it, right? An enormous amount of African Arabic. You could, in fact, change the word Alfredo into Alfardo. Watch. Isma. Alfarid.
الفرد.
Alfardo, right? The
Mhm.
individual, right? Alone, standing alone.
الفرد.
Al-Farid. So there is an Arabic word for Alfredo. It's just not going to be a creamy white sauce with garlic and Parmesan cheese. Now you just made me hungry for pasta. But that being
The
said,
reason I was distracted is because the Mufti of the Shi'i militia in Iran came out with a statement just now.
uh-oh. Well, let's give it 2 more minutes before we go. Somebody asked me to open the chat, so I will do that while we're sitting here. Thank you guys for reminding me. Somebody says you require a pinch of nutmeg in your Alfredo. In southern Italy, there are more similarities, not in the north. That is very, very true because Sicily was a Muslim nation for a very long time. The very brown people. I lived in Sicily. I had an Italian girlfriend from Sicily. Um, and then I almost married someone from northern Sicily, from Treviso. And they are Europeans, blonde haired Europeans. But when I was down in Sicily, I couldn't tell them apart from Algerians, in some respects. And the Arabic, and loads of Arabic down there. If you go to Malta, which is between Sicily and Tripoli, Libya, if they're actually speaking Arabic, they call it Maltese. But
Malta.
if you listen to it, it's really Arabic. It's just a crazy Libyan
They
dialect.
also look Arab. They also look Arab. You see them, they have an accent like the Arabic accent.
Yeah.
They have
Uh,
personality like the Arab personality.
yes, but you can tell them apart because they dress like Italians.
Yes, they do.
And Italians know how to dress. Let me tell you that right now. So yeah, somebody says Northern Germany. Steve Alexander says he's been to Malta. I've been to Valletta and went around. Malta is very, very, very interesting. Annabelle Lee says, Dude, do you have a girl and friend in every port? No, I'm sorry. Those days, those days are long, long behind me. Here, look, Eileen Travis is saying the same thing. Long time ago. But you have to understand the only way you can have a girl in every port back in the oldie days, right, was you had to be able to communicate with them. And nobody speaks English. And well, people do speak English in Malta, but the average person, it's transnational. They would speak Italian. They could speak Maltese, which is really, really, really French. So now I'm going to open up the chat there. We are almost 922 people. We will open up a new chat today, which I need to, when I'm on my phone because I'm using this, um, it's hard to do. Actually, if you give me 1 second, Wajeeh, why don't you tell us a little bit about the price of oil while I'm opening the chat?
It hasn't changed much for the United States since its weekend, or the Brent crude is also hasn't changed. I'm looking at
Okay,
OPEC
what's the
and
prices?
nothing has changed. Is Brent crude is 68. Sorry, Brent crude is 72. WTI is at 68. Marban is at 66. Pick is at 77.
Yeah, well, we will see if it continues this way. Give me 1 second. I am now post questions here.
Did you see
Um,
one of
uh,
the speakers at Khomeini's funeral called for the assassination of Trump?
no, well, let's hold that because we're going to talk about that now that we are at our 1,000 followers. The reason that we on this podcast don't start giving out intelligence for the first few minutes, actually, I'm showing 946, so it's probably higher than that. And it is a very lazy post 4th of July Sunday, right? We all should be taking time off. to go mow our lawns. I'm doing the full Forrest Gump today, but I've got to jack up my lawnmower and replace the tire, replace the inner tube. We'll fire up the generator, get the air compressor going, and fill it with air. Right? Hey, Ben Shapiro, you should come to my house. It's like on a farm, and
Oh my God.
I won't buy a piece of wood. We got stuff to do here. So when I have to mow the grass, it's 5 acres, bro. I fully Forrest Gump this thing. I just ride around for free. So that being said, the price of oil, there is still an enormous amount of discussion that is happening about the oil tank bottom and how speculators are completely relying strictly on the fact that people are releasing strategic petroleum reserves and appear to be blinding their eyes by the fact that it will run out and that they hope that oil will be going up and down. Somebody keeps saying my sound level is too low. Sorry, somebody says turn up my audio. This is as high as it can go, folks. I'm going to take off my headphones. Let's see if that's any better using the computer's audio. Watch it.
Say something again, please.
How do I sound now?
There is a latency, but
Late.
it's okay.
All right. I'm going back to my normal headphones because this cuts out fine. Okay. Um, let's
It's way better. It's
okay.
louder now.
It cuts out this is a very, very large room for an office, and it just cuts it out. So that being said, um, there is a belief that the markets are playing sort of with themselves or playing with these numbers on the basis of faith, not on the basis of market numbers, the way that they always do. So if that's the case, things could get good, things could get horrible relatively quickly. That being said, let's take a look at the Strait of Hormuz. There are clusters of small vessels in the last 2 days that have been using the Omani traffic separation scheme. That's the southern route in the Strait of Hormuz. We're calling it the OTSS now, the Omani traffic separation scheme. That scheme may actually be in use, but there's a reason that things changed yesterday because the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, after seeing 3 ships come together like in a little escort group, they weren't being escorted, but were going out of the Strait of Hormuz through that thing. The Iranians communicated directly to that group and told them to turn around and come out through the Iranian traffic separation scheme in the north. And they did it. So now ships are now being turned back. The Iranians are essentially saying, hey, it's safe if you keep doing that. Let's go. Let's go back to the Iranian scheme. Ships are now carrying out that scheme. There have been no very large crude carriers entering the Strait of Hormuz in the last 2 days. That is interesting because if you intend to break this jam of oil, you are going to have to bring into the Strait of Hormuz oil tankers that can carry that oil out, even if the oil is going to be transshipped from ship to ship at Fujairah. Can you point that out, Wajeeh? Down just on the eastern side of the Strait of Hormuz, further down, Fujairah.
Oh, Fujiera,
Right down,
Fujiera, Fujiera.
way in the bottom there. And right. On the Indian Ocean
Right
side. There
there.
you go. And if you still got to have tankers going in to collect that oil. So when you get 2 or 3 days of no vessels going in, that means you got 2 or 3 days of no vessels coming out. The point we're trying to bring up here is we are not even starting to approach the beginning of alleviating the oil crisis. It was 300 ships per day in and out on February 27th. None of those vessels have gone in and out since February 28th. I think the number that went out was less than 1,000. I'm doing the math here. Times one to zero. There should have been, there should have been 39,000 vessels should have crossed back and forth through the Strait of Hormuz in the time that this war has been fought. And right now we're at 1,000. It's 90% less than it was in the pre-war, like we said yesterday. Anyway, that is not good. Iran is turning around. As a matter of fact, yesterday morning, they turned back 6 ships. They also turned back that 3-ship convoy. Like somebody here says, Patricia Hale says, right? Dr. Patricia Hale. Terrible news, and Trump doesn't care. That's correct.
No,
Terrible news, and Trump doesn't care. We are headed.
I really don't care about the American economy or the fiscal issues for the American people. All I care about is to have no nuclear weapons with Iran.
Yeah. Mike says, I thought the average was 100 ships a day. Nope. Pre-war, 300 ships in and out Persian Gulf. 300. It's a fraction of that. Now, maybe they meant very large crude carriers, but it was amazing. So, somebody says my grandson's 19-year-old sister in the Navy just got orders to go back to Bahrain. I thought they bombed the shit out of Bahrain. They did. They bombed the absolute shit out of Bahrain. But somebody's got to clean that mess up, right? So he's going to be hanging out. There are other parts in Bahrain. Their feed belongs to a P-8 patrol aircraft squadron. They are at the Sheikh Issa Air Base on the southwestern side of the island. They are not in Manama at the eastern side of the island, which has access to the best malls. Down at Sheikh Issa, you got to drive like an hour to get to the mall. So, and when you're there, there's nothing else to do except go to the mall and go to work, and go to bed and go to the gym and go to the mall and go to work. So, question, alleged confusion says, are we going to freeze this winter? Probably not, but you are probably going to pay a whole lot more for it.
Yeah.
Iran. Wajeeh, let's talk about the funeral in Iran. What do you have to report about that?
Well, there is a speaker at the funeral of the Ali Khamenei, the way how you enunciate it in Persian. He came out and said that assassinating Donald Trump is something that they need to do.
Ooh, who
Let
does
me
that
find
speak
the
again?
exact quote. They haven't named him, but I have the video of him speaking at the
Oh,
funeral.
okay.
During
What, is he Iranian?
he's our yeah, he's Iranian. He says our duty. He said that to the crowd. Is the funeral speaker reported stating that assassinating Trump was our duty, and we should. Why we should not kill the man who killed my imam.
Hmm. Yeah, so that guy's Iranian. When you think about it, what I find amazing is a lot of people be like, oh my God, the Iranians called for the assassination of Trump. They're at the funeral of a guy they assassinated, that Trump assassinated. Okay. I mean, you want to be technical, it was the Israelis, but they killed an enormous number of people. I don't even know how many people. The estimates are it could have been as many as 100 people in that command post, including, Mujtaba al-Khamenei, father, wife, and daughter. That's an assassination when you are specifically out to kill the leadership of another country. So I don't know why people would sound so surprised by a comment like this, but you could be pretty sure the White House is going to run with this to note, left and right. But I don't think it matters because the United States is now eating out of the Iranians' hands, and that the Iranians have us over literally over a barrel of oil, and that we are paying them enormous quantities, first of their own monies and then of monies which they say is coming from the Gulf states, but you can be pretty sure will involve American money. And we are spending billions keeping a military force in the region from a country that has just strategically defeated our nation in a war. So if I were the Iranians, I'd let that stuff slide, but we're going to see how the White House is responding to that. Waj, did you see the article saying that Trump is surprised? He is surprised that the Iranians who were at the funeral were crying tears of grief and anger and pain. Let me read it for you because he he said, I'm going to get the exact post. I was laughing because I just saw a picture of Donald Trump as the Unabomber, and it says he has figured out who put the algae in the swimming pool. And at the reflecting pool FBI sketch of who put the algae in the reflecting pool. If I see it again,
You know they removed the devices that was pumping oxygen in the pool right before the UFC fight, right? Oh,
read the caption. Police have released
the I can't read it because of the title up there.
police have released the sketch of the main suspect accused of defacing the reflecting pool.
Oh my god!
That was not what I was going for. I was going on Trump's comment um, about the funeral, and Trump's comment was he found it amazing that people were actually crying for this guy. He said maybe it's fake tears. He thought people hated Khamenei and that Khamenei was one of the most hated people in the world and that he couldn't understand why people were mourning him. And more importantly, that Ali Khamenei and the people in the government there were begging Trump, calling him again, saying, Donald Trump, you have killed our Ayatollah. Please, 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 with tears in our eyes, we are begging you to make a deal. He didn't say those very words, but you know, in his next speech, he will say that because he always has them coming up with tears in his eyes, right? Uh,
You know, a very strong man came to me. He's one of the strongest men I've seen, and he
it,
was telling me he was negotiating with the Iranians, and they had tears in their eyes,
tears in
and
his
they were begging them so hard, telling them that please stop the attack. You have had tremendous winning all over Iran. Ay, 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 ay.
what can we say? All right. Yeah. Okay. Donald, if you're listening, um, there are a lot of people in this world that don't like you and they like other people. And it's a country of 93 million people. They will have tears in their eyes, right? You killed their guy and you killed the guy's family and you killed the guy's relatives and you killed just about hundreds of people. Over 6,000 Iranians, they're going to be pretty mad. And the people that are coming there, considering Marco Rubio, we made that report yesterday. Marco Rubio had State Department go worldwide to all embassies, all consulates, that any nation that attends the funeral, whether diplomatically at any level, will be completely cut from all U.S. aid issued by the United States. And what was let me check the actual phrasing they used yesterday, and that there will be negative consequences that will be considered an unfriendly act to the United States. They put that
You
out
know,
worldwide, and it worked. It worked. 5 African countries said they're not going because the bribes are too good. That leaves
there is an Arabic,
55 other countries.
there's an Arabic saying that says, "ضربني وبكى سبقني واشتكى." They hit me first, and then they complain. They start crying and went to the boss, and like I'm the one that got hit, and I'm looking around like motherfucker, you just hit me, and you started crying, and you went complaining. That's an actual Arabic saying that we have, and we say that when situations like this happen. The United States and Israel attacked Iran first. the Iranians have lost their pope, if you want to put it that way. The Shi'i community across the world is mourning because the one who is leading their faith is no longer there. There are is there acting in there? Yes, there is some acting in there by some individuals. I can't tell you which ones are. But there videos that the Iranians made themselves making some fun of some of these religious clerics at the funeral crying. There's a video out there that I posted where Abbas, the foreign minister of Iran, was standing right next to the speaker of the parliament, Bagachi, and but the speaker of the parliament just was sobbing and crying, and the foreign minister just couldn't hold his eyes. He was just so looking at him, and he was looking sideways at Mushtaba, and they were just making a funny video about that because, like, there are people who are really affected emotionally by this, and there are people who could just move on. And the reality of the situation, Iranians have complicated relations with their leadership, but the other reality is you got at least 10 to 20 million people showing up for his funeral.
Hmm.
So this is other than the 100 plus countries that showed up. There is also known as something like protocols.
Protocol. Every one of those Gulf states, all right. For example, the Saudis went there, and you made a good comment yesterday about the quote that the Saudis were required to go, right?
Yeah,
By
they
Islam,
they just
right?
by Islam and by their prestigious tradition. They have their own protocol, and the protocol is whoever we have a relationship with, doesn't matter what kind of relationship. If we have a professional relationship with you, if we have an embassy in your country, then if your leader dies, we send a delegation to that funeral.
Right.
When Pope Francis died, we sent our highest, most important members of the Saudi government and foreign relations to go and attend Pope Francis. But if you take a look at the people that we sent to Amina's funeral, you'll notice that we didn't send the biggest names. We just sent a regular delegation of some government officials, but they don't have the highest titles.
Yeah, it'd be like the
And
Minister
even
of
then,
Agriculture, right? Minister of Agriculture, the head of the Saudi Islamic Charity, or the director of the International Committee for the Red Crescent of Saudi Arabia, or something, so that it's all charity related, Islamic affiliation related, even though they all hate each other.
let me look it up.
Yeah, but I'm just saying they're not sending the crown prince. All right.
Yeah, they didn't send Minister of Foreign Relations. They sent the Deputy Minister of Foreign Relations.
Yeah,
Like,
the guy, the T boy of the Minister of Foreign Relations, right? So
so
somebody went. Khalas, they wore their
listen,
their.
but the Saudis, Qataris were getting their ass kicked by fellow Gulf states in the last 2 days.
Mhm,
There has been a huge drama between Gulf states because Kuwait, Bahrain, and the UAE did not go.
mhm.
And they are looking at the Saudis and the Qataris, and they're like, you guys sound like a whole bunch of masochists that don't know how to stand up against the Iranians that are betraying the rest of the Gulf states by going. And then I literally just repeated the Saudi talking point that they're doing their own protocol, and this
Uh-huh.
is what we do.
Okay. Hey, is your mic adjustable? Mine is not because I'm on earplugs. Somebody says to just quiet down. You sound like
I'll
me
push it away.
because I'm a shouting mug. Right.
How about now? Is that better?
The volume is always loud, somebody says. So it's okay. I hear you clear and loud and clear, and that's what I want. I want to be able to hear you loud and clear. What you said, though, was very important. I think that people need to understand. The people that come to this podcast on a very lazy Sunday morning, 1,200 of you, you want to understand and know how the world is. Well, this is the way it always does operate. that there are international diplomatic protocols for the deaths of people. Saudi Arabia is the nation that is the keeper of the two holy shrines of Mecca and Medina, and they technically have yay and nay to say if Iranians come on Hajj. They have to because it's an obligation
Uh-huh.
of Islam. So there must always be some protocol, even if they're throwing missiles at each other, right? So that being said, that is what was going on with Mujtaba al-Khamenei's funeral, which continues into tomorrow. You said they're going to, I don't know if they've already brought him over to Iraq, but they're going to bring him over to Iraq
Today, they're
today.
supposedly taken to Iraq today, yes. And I was reading, according
That's
to
going to be
Google,
interesting.
no, there has no supreme leader of Iran buried in Qom. I'm not sure where they're buried, but I need to do more research on that.
Yeah.
But
Well, as I
someone was
said,
like, "There
yesterday we got news that he is going from there back to Mashhad for his final burial, which is his hometown,
must that.
Mashhad,
That
Iran,
makes sense."
which I understand has an incredible mosque there. Somebody says my mic is much more faint today compared to usual. It's not like it's close enough to his mouth because I'm using earplugs. So you said Mashhad. Yes, that is correct. Okay.
I put the mic so far now. I don't want to have my
Don't
mic
worry.
between me is 2 feet.
So long as
Two
we can hear
feet.
you. So let's shift to Israel. The relationship between Donald Trump and Israel is being reported by our favorite guy. Somebody says I'm in a skiff. No, I'm not. The skiff's downstairs. And the skiff, one of these days, I will do a show from the man cave, the man skiff, downstairs, the my sensitive compartmented information facility, which is in my basement. Uh, it's sort of a joke name. So Donald Trump is going to be meeting Benjamin Netanyahu, who is coming to the United States next week. And Netanyahu is hoping to meet Trump to have some influence on the situation in Lebanon. But this is being reported by Axios that Donald Trump made the statement that Netanyahu, quote, knows who the boss is. And, and he said that, of course, going like this, me, right? Essentially trying to reestablish the United States as the dominant partner in this relationship, and that he is going to treat Netanyahu like the boss when he comes next week, which ought to create some interesting dynamics, I think, for what's going to happen between Netanyahu and Trump. I think it's going to be very in public, very nice. But boy, it's a good thing I got a subscription to Axios because this is the kind of trash talk I actually want to hear because they're going to be going back and forth. Because everyone now knows that Barack Ravid, who is an Israeli American, has direct access to Donald Trump. Trump calls him up at 2 in the morning. So if they want to get
Malcolm
something
is like,
through,
this is the moment I wish I'm a White House staffer.
not me, you know, not at all. I'll just read it. I'll just read it in the news. But they're going to be going at it because Trump has gone to opposition leaders and had people in the opposition communicated with them that Donald Trump may be interested. Oh, I see the problem. My earplugs are not actually communicating.
I can't hear you now. Could mute and unmute yourself. No. Nothing. There's nothing. No. You guys see what you did? You destroyed the whole show. It's all your fault, listeners. Can't hear Malcolm. You can't hear Malcolm now. Yeah, I can't hear a single word you say. Could you unmute yourself, see if that works? Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, no, I do, I should probably look at your lips and see if I could read lips now. Yeah, I have no clue. You can't. You guys are able to listen to hear him? No, no, no one can hear you, Malcolm. It's the infiltrators. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I apologize for this inconvenience and the technical difficulty. While Malcolm is fixing his audio, make sure that you like, subscribe, and comment. If you're watching this on YouTube, you're watching a recording. If you're just tuning in, thanks coming in. Go ahead and take a second to share this live stream. We got 1,000 people here or more. If we share this, if everyone shares this, this gets spread. But we have a good article for you that I written for you today. It's about the bureaucratic autocracy that we have built. It's not necessarily uh, an opinion that's filler, but there's good points to be had in there. Why do we need a populist on the Democratic side to run for office one way or another? There are good lessons to be had from the Mamdani elections. You may not disagree with any of it, or you might disagree with all of it, but it is based on research and it's based on other. Let me see if Malcolm is texting me. No, he's not.